I think this is one of the coolest things I've done happening with AI. This comic book is completely, or rather a comic page is completely generated by AI, and apparently there is this whole community on HuggingFace that is generating and posting comics in the space itself. This is yet another comic. I actually tried it on my own and I told it to generate Pokemon and Avengers confused. And you can see there's Pikachu, there is Iron Man, and then there is this illustration of both of them, and then there is this who are you confusion of sorts, right? So a mystical creature from another world, and it's really cool, right? So you can see these images also look like, oh, okay, I lost them. These images also did look like the images that you would typically see in comic books. So in order to use this, it's pretty straightforward, right? So you go to Hugging Face Co-Spaces, and I'll put this link in the description, but you find AI Comic Factory. Now AI Comic Factory has this category that you'd want to use. There is American comics, there is Japanese, and then there are a bunch of different categories, right? So let's say we want to use Egyptian, and then you can choose the type of grid that you want to generate. So there is grid 0, grid 1, grid 2, and so on and so forth. I'm going to use grid 0. You can add captions to your story, and you can actually specify the story that you want to generate. So let's say, I'm trying to generate Donkey Kong, but in real life confused, right? So that's the story I want to generate. It takes a couple of seconds or maybe a minute to generate the story itself. And let me just quickly come back once the story is ready. You can see the generation has started, and it kind of approaches the problem in 4 different sections, right? So which is relatively easier because you can use the model or the AI to generate images one by one. You can see the images are generated. What is strange? What is the strange device? How do I use this thing? And then there is wait, which way is the camera? Forget this, I'm a gorilla, I don't need this thing. So it's a pretty interesting concept. You can see the whole comic is generated in Egyptian style, which you can change from here. So if you want to generate like a 3D render, you can do that. You can also redraw certain images here, and you can choose to upscale the images. Now obviously this is like a very straightforward thing, so I'm not gonna like try to engineer it or try to make it more complex. It's super cool. Go ahead and check it out in Hugging Face. I've added the link to this model in the description so you can find it. Alright guys, thank you so much and have a good one.